What's up, everybody? Welcome to my channel. I'm CrystalDivineQueen, and this is my indigenous lifestyle. As you guys can tell from the title of my video, I took a herbalism course, but it wasn't just any old herbalism course. It was primarily focused on pregnancy and postpartum, and it also included nutrition as well. I wanted to take this course because prior to ever even getting into birth work or just knowing that this was something that I was going to pursue, I wanted to be like a medicine woman. I saw myself being an elderly woman, pulling out her medicine bag whenever anyone in the family was sick or ill. And so naturally, I knew that herbs is the true medicine, not the prescription medication and, things of that nature. So I've always had an interest in herbs and the healing power behind herbs. I just never knew that when I declared that all those years ago, when I affirmed that that's what I want to be, that's how I see myself being, that in order to get to that place, it was going to involve birth work. So I say all that to say, be mindful what you speak of into existence and be open to all the possible ways that it could happen for you. Now, I found this course on Instagram. It was a promoted post, so I did not follow the woman who teaches the program. But I don't know, y'all, it was just something about this post that made me, stop scrolling and click on her page and just, read the caption and really consider it. And it wasn't an expensive course. It was something that I could afford. And I just felt like, the fact that it was geared to pregnancy and postpartum, really made me interested as well. So I decided to just go on ahead and pay for it and take the class. I remember telling myself too, Crystal, if you don't get this now, later on you're going to try to get it and it's not going to be available. Just do it. Invest in yourself. I've been in the spirit of investing in myself so I can build my business. And this is just one of the ways that happened to align in the midst of me already feeling that energy. The name of the course is Grandma's Hands, Pregnancy and Postpartum, Herbs and Nutrition in the Southern Tradition. Okay, and the lady who teaches this class, her name is Divine. It's an online course. So the way the structure of this course is set up, there's a weekly webinar. And prior to our first weekly webinar, we were given course materials, things to read, definitions to look up, to kind of just prepare us for the things we will be talking about in the first lesson. So the first week came, we had our first lesson. Afterwards, we always had a discussion question and then, little homework, which would just be more reading material or even videos, just course materials to prepare for the following week when we move on to the next lesson. She did offer to give a certificate of completion, and in order to receive yours, you had to complete a quiz and a project. The quiz was not hard or long. Basically, if you just been paying attention throughout the lessons and, taking your notes, then you could just refer back to your notes and find the answers. And then we had a project. So we had an option of creating a tincture, a salve, or a meal, a postpartum meal. All three of those things are things that we learned how to do. We learned how to classify what exactly is a Southern or a soul food meal that can aid in postpartum healing. And we learned how to make tinctures and salves and other things like that to administer the herbs that we were learning to use for medicinal purposes. I thought the course was great, y'all. And I really feel like the course was worth way more than what I paid for. I don't remember if I got the early bird special or not, but the early bird special was $100 and then the regular price for the course was $150. And it was worth way more than that. I would highly recommend anybody to invest in this, especially if you're going to be in birth work, especially if you're new to herbs. This was my first class that I've taken on herbs. I've read and researched things, but this is the first class or course that I've ever taken, and it was definitely worth my money. I'm so glad that I jumped on it and I didn't hesitate. So the course was 6 weeks, which meant 6 lessons. And as I said, there was reading material and videos to watch. We had vocabulary terms, and we even had access to a private Facebook group. I thought that private Facebook group was really cool because it was just a way to interact with other people who were taking the class rather than trying to do it during the webinar. You don't really have the time to, be in the comments, seeing who's in there, things of that nature. And then also in the private Facebook group, we talked about just everything pertaining to the lesson, little bits and pieces of information that people had to add to maybe the topic of the lesson and things like that. So the private Facebook group was really, really cool, and it is limited. So after the course, we had a certain amount of time to, get whatever information we needed to get from the group, and then we were removed from the group so that she could have a clean group for her next class. So let's get into the good stuff. Okay, what did I learn in this herbal course? Okay, the first lesson was on the historical role of Black midwives. When I tell y'all I needed this lesson, like, I'm big on history anyway, so these type of things just excite me. Like, I love just learning about our history and our culture, especially because we live in a society where they always try to tell us we don't have anything, and the stuff that we do have is like ghetto and just degrading, which is not true. So she really broke down the history of Black midwives, which in my opinion is the history of midwives. We were doing this first. We were doing this before the title came along, and the title came along with a hidden agenda to, wipe us out of midwifery and gentrify it, basically, So it was really good to, hear about the history of the Black midwives. I learned about specific Black midwives, their names. We watched videos from some of them, videos from the babies that they help assisted, into this world. Just basically, it was an overall reminder that we do have tradition, we do have culture, we did bring it with us, and it was not stripped away from us as we have been told, or as we have been programmed to believe. The second lesson was about pregnancy and childbirth herbs. That's pretty self-explanatory. We learned about all kinds of herbs that can aid a woman during her pregnancy and during her childbirth experience. I learned so much, and I took so many notes from that lesson. And I also took a lot of notes from lesson 3, which was about postpartum and breastfeeding herbs. So, I learned a lot of information about herbs, what herbs to utilize. And one thing that I learned that was very, very important, and I want to share that with you guys, is we have been programmed to think that when we have a dis-ease or illness in the body, or just something disturbing us, our natural flow, that it's a one-stop shop. Like, I got a headache, aspirin. I got this going on, I go to the doctor, he give me a prescription, or he give me a shot, or he give me whatever, and then that's it. And so when we get into herb work, we look at it with that same mentality. I'm cramping, what herb is going to help me with this? I'm bleeding, what herb is going to help me with this? And herbs don't work like that. Herbs is holistic health, and a lot of people don't really know what holistic means. They think holistic and they think healthy alternatives or natural alternatives, and that's not it. Holistic means whole, healing the whole picture, the whole body, and not just focusing on one specific thing. So if you are having postpartum issues and you're looking for an herb to treat a specific part of that, and I tell you drink chamomile tea, and then you drink it and you still are dealing with that specific issue, you'll think, oh, this doesn't work. It's not that it doesn't work. It doesn't work because you got some other stuff going on outside of that one specific issue that the herb has to, deal with first. So if you're ever gonna deal with herbs, I just want you guys to keep in mind that herbs don't work like the prescription over-the-counter medicine, the shots and vaccines and all that other stuff that the hospitals use or prescribe for us when we feel sick or have an illness or some type of disease. Herbs don't work like that. And because they don't work like that, you need to be very, very careful who you're asking to recommend stuff to you, okay? Because they don't know the whole picture. All they know is that you're dealing with cramps, or you've got some bleeding going on, excessive or heavy bleeding. You know what I'm saying? So they don't know the whole picture. So be careful who you're asking for remedies from. The fourth lesson was infusions, salves, and tonics, where basically after we learned about all the herbs and what they can be used for, now we had to learn, okay, well, how do you administer the herbs? A lot of us think we need to drink tea. We need to put the herb in a tea form and drink it that way. And that's not the only way to not only administer this herbal medicine to you, but it's not always the best way to get it. Like, there are other ways to administer it that are way more powerful than just drinking the tea. And then speaking of tea as well, make sure that you're making your tea so that it is medicinal, okay? Make sure that you look up the proper way to make tea. A lot of us make tea, we boil the water, we put it in the cup, put the little tea bag in the cup, and we wait for it to cool down. And all the steam is coming out, and that's all the medicinal. That's everything. Like, it needs to be covered in order to truly steep so that you can reap the benefits, and it's medicinal. Okay, so just keep that in mind with teas. But yeah, we learned how to make infusions, salves, and tonics. I'm familiar with making salves already, but I've never had to make one medicinally. So there were still some things in there that I learned with that. Infusions was brand new to me. I'm so glad that I learned how to do that, as well as tonics. And best to believe, I will be having my whole wall of medicinal herbal things in the future, you know? So that was lesson 4. Lesson 5 was about pregnancy and postpartum soul food for the healing, okay? So let me just say really quickly, Chinese people have Chinese food, Italian people have Italian food, Haitians have their food, you know, all these other cultures, ethnicities have their own food. But for us, the Black people, you know, we don't have any Black food, right? Wrong. We do. Soul food is our food, okay? Soul food is our food. And a lot of times when you're down south, they want to call it Southern cuisine, you know, but that's just the gentrified version of our food, y'all. Soul food is our food. And yeah, it has a bad rep. It has a bad rep of being unhealthy and all of these things, but true traditional soul food was mostly vegetables. It was mostly vegetables. And a lot of the foods that we eat, like the fried chicken and the baked macaroni and cheese and, you know, just a bunch of other stuff, those were supposed to be like holiday foods, you know. It was supposed to be foods that we ate when we were celebrating, you know, not how it is now where we're eating it every Sunday. So please do your research on soul food. It's our food. They have tried to take it from us and gentrify it and resell it back to us in a way that we weren't initially eating it, and it's caused us to be unhealthy. And now everybody's running around here trying to get a vegan version of soul food, and those are not any more healthier, okay? All that soy and all the other ingredients, just because it's not healthier. It's just not healthier, y'all. So that is one of the things that I took away from this course that was so valuable, even outside of birth work, just in my home, in my children, you know, in my grandchildren, future grandchildren, and so on and so forth, you know. just having that knowledge of what true soul food is. Now I just feel even more equipped to take care of my clients postpartum and even through their pregnancy. When we're having our prenatal meetings and I come to their house and I cook for them, I know I'm cooking them something that is not only true to our culture, but it is also going to aid in the healing and the development of the mother and the baby. And then the sixth lesson, the last lesson, was how to do an herbal assessment. So basically that's self-explanatory. You don't want to just be recommending red raspberry leaf because that's like the popular one. We always want to go to that when we need the uterus to contract or whatever the case may be. You want to analyze the whole situation. Like I said earlier, herbs is holistic medicine. Okay, so we're never just treating one specific part of the mom. We're treating her as a whole, mind, body, and soul. So we need to do a full evaluation. We need to not make assumptions on what their lifestyle is like or their diet is like, or if they're, exercise in a certain way. And an example for that could be if they're Muslim, you don't want to just automatically assume they don't eat pork. Okay, so all of those things come into play when you are providing a recommendation for an herb for a mother to take. And you really want to be careful with that, especially if she is with child. Okay, so learning how to do a herbal assessment was another vital part of this course, and I'm so grateful for it. Now, for my project, I decided to cook a soul food meal, and I actually made a video about it because we had to either turn in like pictures or a video just to prove that we made it, and we had to explain why we chose that meal to aid in either pregnancy or postpartum healing. So y'all know me, I gotta be me. I went on ahead and just made a video that I'm going to upload in a few days for you guys to see as well. So I'm not even going to tell y'all what I cooked. If y'all want to see what I cooked, you just wait until I upload that video and check it out. But I cooked something that I never cooked before. And then I also cooked the dish in a way that I've never made it before. So it was really cool, y'all. It was really cool I love cooking anyways, and cooking something new is exciting for me. And cooking something that I've made before, but in the way that my ancestors made it, it made me feel really, really connected to not only just the purpose of this course, but to my culture. So final thoughts on my herbal class that I took. I loved it. I highly recommend it, especially if you are a birth worker. It doesn't matter if you're going to be a midwife. It doesn't matter if you're going to be a doula. It doesn't matter if you're going to be a counselor. If you are in birth work and you're going to be working with women during their pregnancy and postpartum periods in a holistic way, I would recommend this course. And I will also say that when you take any kind of course, not just an herbal course, but any kind of course, don't limit yourself to just one course. Okay, so I do have my eye on another herbalist that provides a course. So maybe sometime next year, 2022, I'll take her course. But I definitely do not plan to just have this be it for me. It was an icebreaker, and it was an eye-opener, and it was very informative, but it definitely just scratched the surface for me and got me eager and ready to just learn more about herbs and just take it up a step or up a notch to the next level. So yeah, y'all, that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Birth workers out there that's watching my channel, I would love to know how you guys feel about herbs and integrating that into your birth work, and any other recommendations that you guys have. Have you taken an herbal class? Did you like it? Would you recommend it? Is there one that you have your eye on as well? Please drop that in the comment section below. Thank you guys again for tuning into my video. I hope that you like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. And when you do, don't forget to turn on that bell so you can get my notifications. And I will see you guys on my next video. Peace.